asked you to dive into that history on a very different note. Can you think back to November 1999 and your first Bedlam and some of those feelings of that day and what you remember from that?
I remember Stalker McDougal scoring on a jumbo offense. That was kind of cool. And I'm trying to think. It was Bob Simmons. Yes or no? You're supposed to know. You asked the 99 question. I think it's Bob Simmons. Was Poe guy? Was he the guy? Was he the 99? That doesn't sound right. There was Tony Lindsay from Colorado. Yeah. Yeah, man, it was, it was like a Super Bowl for us. That's what I remember. I think, was it Rob Ryan? He had something to say. I think he said something. No, that was when I was still at Kansas State. He said something about our linebackers. And we destroyed them that day. But no, I just remember. I remember those things. I think it was the week of Thanksgiving, right? And thinking, why do we got to play this game on Thanksgiving week? Why can't we I think we had been used to prior to coming that Thanksgiving week was a week that you had off, and then you played the next week, but not necessarily at Oklahoma. But I remember thinking that too. If you want me to be transparent, honest. But then now I like it, that you're playing that week. But anyway, I remember winning. I can't remember the score. I usually remember pretty good with scores, but I remember Stalker scoring on a jumbo package, and I remember it was Coach Simmons, and now I remember Tony Lindsay. But
44-7, by the way.
44-7, yeah.
Please do a deep dive on Oklahoma State.
Yeah.
What you think?
Yeah, they've been again. I got some good stuff on them. A lot of y'all already know, but no, they're Spencer Sanders. I think this is between. I think he started 52-ish or so games in high school as a quarterback, and then this is his 41st start. I think in college, he might be. I bet he's a top 10er for sure, right? Can I say that top 10er? Huh? I can if I want, but it's not really appropriate. So top 10, who has 90 some starts as a quarterback? Incredibly experienced. He's a winner. He's instinctive. He's fast. He's explosive. Got a quick release. You can tell he's played. He's got a lot of moxie. You can tell he's played a lot of football. The team rallies behind him. Plays off of his leadership and his energy. Sometimes the worst thing you can do is cover everybody because he can really run, and he's a true dual threat guy. They've got designed quarterback runs for him, but they do a good job of moving the launch point. But he makes all the throws. Really excellent player. They're averaging 35 points a game, and top 25 in scoring. And again, he leads the Big 12 in total offense. So number one, top guy. So 290 yards a game. He's completing 60% of his passes. He's, all Big 12 returner, 2 wins shy of the school record for the most victories as a starting quarterback. So I guess it means he beat Mike Gundy's record at some point in time, huh? So that's good. And then defensively, they lead the Big 12 in third down defense. Been really outstanding. And they're 11th in the country in tackles for loss, per game. So they've been disruptive. They've had success they had a tremendous year defensively last year. A lot of those same guys returning. They do have confidence. I know they're banged up a little bit, but top to bottom, I think they have belief in what they do, and they're had a great win, forced 5 turnovers, against Iowa State last week. So. Going to be a great challenge. This game's always, you never know how it's going to go. Throw the records out, as we all know. I really like 20. Their running back runs downhill with purpose. They do a nice job in the run game with him as well. I know he's an Oklahoma kid, and they've got more Oklahoma guys on their roster than we do, by long ways. And that's something that I recognized when I first got the job, 11 and a half months ago. The depth of the and they played for the Big 12 championship and beat us a year ago. With a roster that looks like that. So that's a credit to them finding guys and developing them and they've done a great job. They beat Texas. They had TCU down. Is it 28-7? Was it 28-0? It was 28-7 at one time, and TCU had a crazy comeback, in the second half. So two of the best teams this season anyway in the conference. And then, again, you lose your starting quarterback, it's tough, and I think they had some other injuries as well and went through a little rough patch, but got a really good win against a really, disciplined team in Iowa State, last week. So it's going to be a great challenge for us.
Both these teams this week are having seasons not up to what they wanted or expected. Does that make it convenient that you're playing each other, a rivalry game? I mean, 4 years from now, if you happen to go 5-5 or 6-5, you might be playing Missouri or somebody, and not near as an emotional of a game. Is this a nice thing to have, or does it not matter?
I mean, I think anytime we're going to play Oklahoma State, it's going to be great. So, I think that's a fair question. I think our guys, you want to believe at the end of the day that they're going to always be excited and emotional and invested about playing week to week, because you only get 12 opportunities a week. That's the environment that I want. For some, it'll mean a little more because maybe they did grow up in this state, and we got a lot of guys that have never played in this game, a bunch. So, but it is your rival. We've been talking about, it's been brought up, in the media because of us going to. We're still going to the SEC, right? In a few years, and so it's been talked about too a little bit, and so our guys are certainly aware that this we only may play a couple more times. So, but I do think that the juice and the edge and understanding what's at stake here in this state, long history and series and the tradition and all the different. Again, every year is a little bit different, right? Everybody can reference this game and know all the individual accolades or the scores, or it went down to an overtime, or it went down to a punt at the last minute, or it was 44-7, or lit or rip, right? Was that Les Miles 52-7? Was that 52-7?
Yeah. 52-9.
52-9. Who's counting, right? But anyway, it's for me. I've been a K-State guy. My last college game, regular season college game, played in Manhattan, was against Oklahoma State. So, of course, it wasn't our rival, but and we won. So that was always good. But no, I mean this is always a great rivalry. There's great intensity and passion in the stadium. Y'all know that, whether it's at their place or our place. The fans, this state is very invested in this rivalry game, and going to be a lot of fun. Our guys, we practiced well last night, good energy, great focus, and we do have some really good leaders that have been a part of this series and understand the importance of it and the value of it.
Aaron, you remember what your defense did in this game in 2009?
2009, was that the third down? They didn't convert a third down.
Converted one.
Was it shutout, 27-0? Yeah, we had a really good defense that year. Really good defense.
You had, and that was a year that brought its share of challenges.
We
All
had
sorts of
two
issues.
1-point losses, right? 14-13 to BYU, 21-20 to Miami.
Sam right out of the gate, plus Jermaine Gresham before the season started.
Trent Williams.
Yeah. In fact, they had people out of position on the offensive line in that game. Anyway, point being, that team had a share of challenges. You never know it by how well you played, especially on defense.
Right.
Late in the year, that was another OU team that had 5 losses
Right.
going into this game, which was crazy. What would you take from that group, traits from those kids on defense in particular, and say to these kids that you have now, here's what you need to learn from that group?
Yeah, just playing for one another, playing for the love of the game. It's football. It's what you know. I remind them every day. I bring that hourglass and set that in front of them. Like your days are numbered to play this game. You don't know. The two most important days in your life are today because you got breath in your body, and that day's going to come for everybody. Okay, but don't take any of it for granted. I don't talk about it just when we're 5-5. I've been talking about So I try to, I don't want them to dread coming to practice every day. It's challenging, demanding enough, and so I want them to really have the right perspective about this vapor in their life of playing this game, a game that they love, and help facilitating all their dreams. So that team, was as tight of a team as I've been on, and through some disheartening, some struggles where, again, BYU was the opener. And then, again, we go on the road to Miami, 21-20, and I wish I knew the other. I thought there was another maybe 1-point game. And then we finished against a really good Stanford team and played excellent. My daughter was born. I was on the practice field down in El Paso, and I had to FaceTime with my wife because it wasn't a planned birth. She was like 3 weeks early. So anyway, I know you didn't ask anything like that. I'm off like I typically do, get off on in the middle of that 2009 season. But with that team, like the cool part of that. So after our last Oklahoma State, was that our last regular season game? And then we're going to play Stanford, right? So Keenan Clayton, who's our starting Sam linebacker, Jim Harbaugh was the coach there, and they had Toby Gerhart and all these monsters, and they had these big tight ends that were like 290 pounds. And Keenan Clayton comes in on Sunday after the game. Keenan played great against Oklahoma State. And he comes in, and he's like, he says, Coach, he goes, I've been watching Stanford. I was like, hey, man, maybe it was then, maybe it was the following Sunday. But he comes in, and he's like, he's a high school safety that's playing our hybrid position. And he says, I got an idea. And I said, what? He said, I can play safety. I played safety. He's from Sulphur Springs in Texas. And he said, I can play safety. I've played it my whole high school career. I started playing linebacker when I came here. And I was like, ding, ding, ding. And so we put him at strong safety. We took our defensive ends, and they became Sam backers. Jeremy Beal. I can't remember who was our other one. Frank. Okay, we played a lot of 2-point positions anyway. I took Gerald McCoy, a couple of D tackles. I played them at 5 techniques because the tight ends were, again, 290, but this all came from just a group of guys. Man, there was trust, there was belief. They had great relations. So when I'm like, that's awesome. What a great idea. And because we had to play a lot of 5-man front and things like that. They played a tremendous amount of 12 and 22, 23 personnel. And anyway, as you all know, we ended up playing really, really well. But when I presented that to the guys, this drastic, game plan change, if you will, going in our last game on a season that's had some turbulence. Man, they were all in. They were bought in 100%. And this is a group of guys that had been very successful all year, really. And so that says a lot about who they are and the belief in one another and what we're asking them to do, even when things maybe on the outside aren't going, everybody else is miserable. And but our guys never, again, quote unquote, they never flinched. So, and I know there's some similarities even to the 2005 group that we've alluded to, and I got some guys on staff that were part of that, that have been able to, to me, I feel, this is just me, I feel we've been able to stay connected through all the chaos of this season, and I'm proud of that, and it's not over yet, and there's every single day you got challenges, and so I don't take that for granted either, the work that it takes, and I got to do a good job with the staff because I'm only one man, so they've got to be an extension of me, and so I gotta be real, I gotta be honest, I gotta be practical, I gotta how do you fix whatever it is, and and then again getting our guys to be excited about coming to see us every day. And again, Sunday, man, you had a whole line of them, and they're all coming in on their own. And so, to me, and guys that were just coming in with the right mindset, humility, eager to to learn and grow and improve, and I just love that, and that's what a lot of people don't necessarily see, and that I'm not expecting anybody to really even understand that, but having done this for 30 years, understand that that's what it looks like. And right now, the winning the winning column isn't where any of us want it to be, but that's growth. That's moving in the right direction. And I reference that Coach Sweeney's first full-time year. I think he was 6-6, and I think they had just lost a bowl game. And he would often talk about it in front of the team, just the leadership, those guys that were all leaving, what they had to say in that locker room after that last defeat, going 6-6. And of course, then they go, I think, next year and then several more years, win the ACC, after that. But knowing that you got the right people that, that get it, what it's going to be all about, foundationally. And but you learn from those past teams, those past players, certainly those past moments. Absolutely, I learned from it. We have a substantial amount of former players that were part of that. And again, a lot of our former players stay in contact with our current players, whether it's a Teddy Lehman or a Dusty Dvorak, amongst others. There's plenty more than that. And so some of the most recent guys, all they know is all the winning. They hadn't had really, I know we lost a couple of, I know everybody thought we had a bad season last year just because we lost our last 2 games. But really the last several years, don't really know about what that cleansing, that pruning season looks like. And but that's, again, and that's not a lot of fun to go through it, but man, that's where the real growth happens. Mm-hmm.
Jenny?
Brent, quarterbacks often get too much credit, too much blame, but in rivalry games like this, we often see sort of quarterbacks defined, everything from like Josh Fields throwing to Rashawn Woods here, or Sam cartwheeling into the end zone up there. How do you see quarterbacks influence in rivalry games like this?
Yeah, the quarterback can't play bad and you win most of the time. All right, I don't know what those percentages would look like. So I think good quarterback play is a part of winning, generally speaking, in the rivalry games, because everybody's tuned in and the emotion is very real and raw and authentic. That they're usually the face of both teams. So I think that's the main thing, and those are some great examples of those guys. Every single one of those. When you said their names, it brought me back right there in the middle of that moment. So, and then you attach yourselves to it. I do myself as a coach to all the different games, that you've been in. So the big, I'm talking about the important games. So whether it's the bowl games or certainly the rivalry games, you remember them all like it was yesterday. And the quarterbacks are a big part of that. Right, wrong, or indifferent. They share all the success and the accolades, or again, they can catch the blame too.
Oklahoma State's really great on third down, defense. What does the offense need to do this week to kind of turn that around? This is a place they got struggled last week.
Yeah, just again being more precise, more detailed, everyone being on the same page. To me, that's an aberration for what they've been. Just looking at their body of work on the season. I think we were in the high 40s, 41%. Okay, certainly that's what it is now.
41 in the country, yeah, 42%.
Yeah, what, 42%? Okay, so, and that's after being one of 13, so it went down. So they've been really pretty dang good, on the year, and so I expect them to come back, refocus and have a better outing, learn from some of the things that we need to do better, coaching and playing. It's not just players; it's it's all of it, and so that's what I expect, But it's going to be a great challenge, yeah, because again, you're talking with a unit that's one of the best in the country, situational football.
For more information, you can visit tulsaworld.com.